What's up viewers, Eric from Sonic. Today I'm pretty excited to have here the new 2021 Lexus IS 350 F Sport. This is a brand new Lexus model with the new touchscreen infotainment system. It's our first time working on it. The same STM7028, which is compatible with the newer Lexus infotainment system, is also compatible with the brand new touchscreen systems as well. And what this STM7028 does is it unlocks all the lock features while the vehicle is in motion. So with these new vehicles, you'll notice that some of the free features are locked out when you're driving. Like for example, if you want to input addresses or score around your phone book and so forth, you're not going to be able to do that. So with this product, you'll be able to do that as well. And it also comes with video in motion. So with the newer vehicles, it should be equipped with the Blu-ray DVD player. So if you stick a Blu-ray in there, it should play movies, and that is only available when the vehicle is stopped and your e-brake engaged. Now with this kit, you can actually see it while the vehicle is in motion so that your passengers can enjoy some form of entertainment while you are driving on such like a road trip and so forth. So there's a lot of features in this, so let's not waste any time. Go in the vehicle and get this installed. All right guys, now that we're in the vehicle, what we need is a panel removal tool. We need a Phillips screwdriver and also a 10mm socket, either a wrench or you could use a power tool like this. And then also a small flathead screwdriver. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is just remove this shift knob. So just go ahead and gently just pull the shift boot down like this. Just turn it counterclockwise and it'll come out very easily. Okay, and then set this somewhere where you won't scratch it. And then we're gonna remove these two panels over here. Just pull it out. And then once you get it out, just grab the bottom and then pull it towards you. Just like that. Okay, if you have a hard time, you could use a panel removal tool to assist you. Put your hand on the bottom like this and just pull it up. Okay, there you go. All right, next. On both sides, you'll know that there's Phillips screwdrivers that's holding this. So there's one and two, these two. And it's also the same for the other side. All right, so Phillips screwdriver here. And we're going to remove these little Phillips screwdriver, these screws. Okay, if you don't want to use a Phillips screwdriver, you could, I believe this is an 8mm. We'll do it on driver's side. All right, now that you got that out, you can remove this. Just put your hand behind this panel here. Pull it out gently. You'll feel the clips just coming off and just work your way out to the front. And whenever you pull these panels off, it's always good practice just to check to make sure all the clips are there. If it isn't, it's going to be in the hole, and you will want to remove it from there and then reattach it to this side of the panel. All right, next we're going to be removing the center console. All we have to do, just go ahead and raise this armrest here and stick your finger down inside here. There's going to be a shift lock release. While pushing that, make sure your e-brake is engaged, especially if you're on some sort of an incline. And then while you're pushing it, change the gear down. Okay? And just like I said, if you don't put on your e-brake, if you don't engage your e-brake, your car is going to roll. So make sure you check that before you change this gear, okay? Okay, so before we do this, there's actually a Phillips screw that's inside here. You have to tilt your head sideways to see it. And we are going to remove it using the Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to show you with my other small camera. Right there. That's the Phillips screw that we need to remove. All right, so once we have that Phillips screw removed, this is ready to come out. So it's going to go ahead and pull this firmly upwards. This whole thing is going to come out. This whole assembly is going to come out. Okay. Here we go, and just tilt it this way. And then it will easily just come out like this. All right. And as you can see here, there's some connectors that's holding it in place. I'm going to go ahead and just remove them just so we have more room to work with. It's not necessary. You could actually just move it aside and then just take off these 4 10mm bolts and it'll come out. But just to be safer and lessen the risk of any panel damage or scratches in the interior, we are going to just remove all this. Just make sure when you're putting everything back together that you don't miss any of the connectors, or else something's not gonna work. You're gonna get some sort of error sign. All right, so once all this is out, all we need to do is remove these 4 10mm bolts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, now that all those bolts are out, go ahead and place this like this, and then we're just gonna pull everything out. All right, there we go. Okay, and once we have it out, we're actually gonna remove the top climate control as well, just because it has more room to work it with over here. Okay, it's very, very easy. It should just be one connector in the back. Okay. All right, so here's the back. And then I'll show you the connectors that we're going to be working on. Okay, so if you look behind the radio over here, the connectors we're going to be focusing on is this middle one over here, and then also this one over here. So if you're looking down, it's the middle one, and then the one on the right. On the middle row, okay, do not make a mistake on this, because for this kit, you can actually fit it on the other connector, and if you do that, you run the risk of shorting your radio. So you gotta be very, very careful. You must know that you have the correct connectors. Not this one. This one is no. This middle one and this one, okay? So we are going to focus on those. All right, so first we are gonna be working on this connector over here. So just carefully just pull this out and then push on the tab. And then while pushing the tab, just pull it out. When you're pulling out, don't pull on the wires. Make sure you pull on the connectors, okay? Once you remove this, go ahead and use a small flathead like this. And then if you look over here, there's a little opening here. And just very gently put it in. Do not force it. This connector is very delicate and it can actually break. And if this connector breaks, then it's gonna cost you a lot of money to fix. So just like this, be very, very careful. Okay, and once you remove this, we are going to use the bottom one and connect this to our cable A. Cable A is actually this one over here that has a lot of different colored wires going into both. That's cable A. Do not get it mixed up. And then what we're going to do is this one with the cover on it, we're going to gently open this cover using a small flathead like this. And be very, very careful when you're opening this. This is also a bit fragile. And then when it pops open, there's gonna be some very delicate pins that you do not want to bend. Okay. Okay, just like this. And as you can see, there's the pins. And then matching the cable A over here to the factory side, facing the same way, okay? So as you can see here, it's labeled A, like here. Just to double check, can just insert this straight in here. Okay, make sure it's matching. Okay, nothing requires force. Very, very careful. You don't want to bend anything. And just cover this, just like that. All right, so once this part is done, the other side of the cable A, the male side, we're going to attach this together with this factory cable like this. You know, it's just snap into place, no force needed. If it doesn't go in, if it doesn't look like it's gonna go in, do not force it, okay? And then as you can see over here, the cable and wires, it's a bit tight over here. So if you want, you can actually remove this factory tape here. It's not a big deal to do that. And then we're gonna just plug it in here like that, all right? So this side is done. Now we're gonna work on the middle connector here, okay? If you have a hard time reaching this, you can actually unplug these two connectors on the top, okay? Just like this. Just don't forget to replug them, all right? Remove this. Okay, so for this connector B, we are going to split it right here. Split the bottom piece off, unlike the connector A where we split it the top piece off. This one we're going to split the bottom. Okay, and be very, very careful. Work slowly. This is very delicate. You don't want to break anything. Okay, just like that. Okay, now that we broke it in this piece, grab your dummy connector. Okay, here's your dummy, and we're going to connect the dummy to the bottom of this 28-pin connector. Okay, here's the 28-pin connector here, and we are going to connect this to the bottom right here. Make sure you look very carefully to see everything lines up first before you press it down. Okay, all right, everything should snap into place very easily. All right, so now we have 2 tops and 2 bottom, and the bottom has a dummy connector. Okay, and then once we have these connectors into 2s like this with 2 basically connectors on each side, grab your B harness right here, and we are going to carefully open this and then connect this into this like this. Okay, if you're watching this video, you haven't installed yet and this seems a little bit too difficult, then you can always hire someone to install it for you. Here you go. And then once again, we are going to match these 2. Okay, the side with the rigid side is the top. Okay, the bottom is flat. It's labeled V. Make sure they both have these rigid parts on the top, and then match the holes and slowly push it in just like that. All right, and then we're going to cover this up again with this black case. And then once we do that, we are going to combine this bottom piece over here to the factory connector like this. Okay, and then we are going to connect it back in to the 28-pin connector. Okay, so for this 28-pin connector over here, this area is very congested, all these wires over here. So although we did not take out the factory electric tape here, we are going to do so for this one because we want to give a little bit more room over here because it's going to be very, very tight. I don't want any pressure going against other wires here. So we're just going to remove all the tape. All right. So now look, this side is free, much easier to work with. And here's a factory connector. We're going to connect it down here. Okay, it will just snap into place. And next, make sure to plug all the factory connectors back in. Okay, these 2 connectors that we pulled out. All right, that's it. Cool. Then we're gonna go ahead and tuck this in the back. It does come with a double-sided tape. You could actually place it, but we find that just leaving it back there, it gets wedged behind the harness. That is good enough. It won't make any rattles or it won't make any noise. Okay, so before we put the radio back, grab your climate control. If you have removed it, if you didn't, it should still be up there. Carefully put all this stuff back. Put this back. Okay, and then we're gonna just reverse order what we just did. Put those bolts back on, put the side panels and everything back together. And then that will conclude our installations. All right guys, well we just finished installing this STN kit for this 2021 Lexus IS. Fired it up. We're gonna go through a test drive just to make sure everything is working correctly. At the same time, it'll be a good demonstration for you guys to see how it works. So what I did was I popped in a DVD player. It could be a Blu-ray DVD. This is an older DVD. That's why it's not widescreen. This is just because of the nature of the DVD video that we put in. So put it in here. It's not Blu-ray, it's just a normal one. And then we'll show you how it works. So if you have a video playing like this, normally when you release the parking brake, it'll turn off, but it's still on. Okay, and then we're gonna go and put the vehicle into reverse. All right, so cool. The new IS has this 360 camera system like this. Makes parking a lot easier, safer. So the backup camera will always override whatever's showing on the screen. All right, so we're on the road driving. And usually when you drive like this, the video will stop playing, like way before. But it's still playing because we have this kit. Okay, so right now I have disabled it, just so you can see how everything locks out. So say that I want to do. And then, okay, it says keyboard input is not available while driving. All right. But say that I bypass it by pressing this call button 4 times. Okay, now this is accessible. Okay, the video keeps coming out, but let me go back. So now I could do all these functions that are usually not available. All right, well, this concludes our demonstration and an installation of this STN series navigation and DVD in motion for the newer Lexus models, covering from select 2018 and current 2021. If you have any questions, leave a line below. If you haven't subscribed to us, make sure you subscribe, and we'll continue to pump out some really cool product content in the future for Toyota, Lexus, and Teslas. Thank you very much for watching.